Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and we said we were only going to talk about season 38 stuff, do all our interviews and all that stuff, but we don't have an interview tonight. We're talking Survivor season 40, all winter season, which everybody is super excited about. Redmond finally posted the cast on Inside Survivor, and I would assume it's official because Redmond's never steered us wrong in the past with casts. So we have our 20 contestants who are participating on all winners.
As someone who stalks Wendell on social media pretty constantly, he hasn't posted in about 36 hours. So you could say this is pretty official.
I would say it's pretty official. Yeah. Normally Wendell is the guy who goes on his Instagram story and blasts us with like 5,000 stories. Not right now. His name is on the list. This is a pretty exciting list. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. I always told Adam Klein after Millennials vs. Gen X that if he ever played again, I would pick him to win because I didn't pick him to win in Millennials vs. Gen X. But there was one thing that had to not be there, and I said to him, I will pick you to win as long as you're not playing with the Queen. The Queen is on the cast, and so Michele Fitzgerald is my winner pick for the season. Without
how
even
many people who are listening? How many people who are listening thought that the Queen was Sandra, and then you said Michele Fitzgerald?
I mean, everybody who's just finding this as the first podcast talking about season 40 probably thought I meant Sandra, but all the people,
Queen on this podcast.
Yeah, but all the people who've been listening to this for long enough know that Michele Fitzgerald is the true queen of Survivor. Queen stays queen. She's going to last 39 days. She's going to beat everybody.
Michele Fitzgerald.
Yeah, adios. She's just going to say adios to everybody as they're leaving. But yes, this is really exciting. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here. Although it is season 40 and it is all winners. And as I was just having like an existential crisis with Alexa before this, is Survivor on the edge of extinction? That is probably going to be our podcast topic for anybody who's a $10 patron this for us, because we need to figure out what's going to happen after season 40. But this is just to be excited. Let's not get worried yet. I can have the existential dread. Nobody else needs to.
And for those of you who want to watch Alexa and Phil have a mental breakdown, become a patron of Survivor Specialist today at patreon.com/Survivor Specialist, especially a $10 patron. But as Phil just said, we're here to be excited. For those of you who are in season 39, who are hopefully listening to this podcast, we're so sorry. We will pay attention to you in, 6 to 8 weeks. But at the moment, we're talking all winners.
Well, and to be honest, somebody said I feel so bad for the people on season 39. I don't, because they just played Survivor. So they are having the time of their lives. They have the
season 38.
What? No, season 39, they just got done playing. They just got done playing.
Yeah.
Season 38 just had to hang out with me for 2 days. So season 39 is much better off than season 38 is, which everybody from season 38 will agree with me on. But I don't feel bad for somebody who is getting overshadowed by an all-winner season, because you got to play Survivor, and I'm sitting here talking about it because that's all we end up doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people are like, oh, do you feel bad for those, do you feel bad for the people who get poor edits? And like, if I got on the show and I got a purple edit, yeah, it would suck, but I still played Survivor and only I know how I did. That's pretty damn cool.
Also, knowing myself, I don't think I could get a purple edit because I'm really obnoxious.
Yeah. I guess not purple, but just not the dream edit that you emit. Guess what? No one gets that. Like
Parvati third time out instead of Parvati, or I'm not sorry, not Parvati. Aubrey third time out instead of Aubrey first time out. Those are two very distinct edits there. But we're not talking about Aubrey because Aubrey's not on all winners. Did I mention Michele Fitzgerald is? Sorry, Aubrey, in case Aubrey finds this or listens.
Yeah, for those of you who are sick of Phil talking about Victoria, you got your wish.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, everybody. Victoria is well in the past. It is all about Michele Fitzgerald now. Boy, and you know what the beauty is? Last time, that was season 32, so I only really had 3 weeks of pregame press to talk about Michele, and my obsession didn't really start with Michele until after I saw her starting to play, and I had to prove Will wrong because he kept going for Anna and then Liz and blah, 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 blah. I now have approximately, 9 months to talk about how good Michele Fitzgerald is going to do on season 40 of Survivor.
And I wasn't even a part of this podcast when the Michele thing started, so I think I'm ready, but in reality, I'm not. I'm really not ready for this.
Yeah, you are not, especially since now we have much more of a following. Back then, we were trying to gain followers. At this point, I'm trying to dump all of you. So Michele Fitzgerald will be.
We were 5 subscribers away from being 4,800 subscribers on YouTube. So please hit that subscribe button.
Oh yeah, and seriously, the people that are going to be doing interviews that are going to be doing, like, you want to subscribe to us. Don't go away yet. I won't talk about Michele with them. Although
yeah, we're going to have some cool people on.
I will be bringing up Victoria to every single one of them, though. So if you're tired of that, don't listen to those. But they're all ready for it, I think. I led with it pretty much every one of them I met. But okay.
All winners.
All winners. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. I'm just excited because it's all winners. And like, it's like, okay, so I was telling Alexa before this podcast started, season 39 is going to be the 10th season of Survivor I've podcasted in full. That's insane. Like, somebody help me. That's a really long time to be doing this. And I didn't realize that because I guess it's only been 5 years. But yeah, season 39 will be the 10th season in full. So season 40 will be my 11th season podcasting. And this is really like the first time that with the way this cast is coming out, we're gonna be talking about a lot of people that I've especially talked about, because we have the winner of 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37 all on this season. I've podcasted every single one of those seasons, and Alexa, I think you've podcasted half of them. So we like kind of know, we've really dissected their games. Now, somebody like Tony, we talked about him in Game Changers, but I didn't get to talk about Tony and Cagayan. So this is going to be kind of interesting. There's some people that we're really familiar with. Obviously, we're familiar with all the winners because we talk about them all the time. But I'm really excited to see the way this dynamic is going to shape out. Alexa, should we just talk about who's on all winners, who we're shocked isn't on all winners, or how do you want to do that?
How about we go through this? Because so for those of you who I believe are $10 patrons, we already did some form of all winners draft. Phil and I picked who we both thought, or separately, we both picked who we thought was going to be all winners, and then we kind of merged that together. And I'm actually looking at this right now in our Google Doc, Phil. So I think first we should say how accurate and or inaccurate we were on guessing that, and then go through who we're surprised by, who we're not surprised by, why we think they did or didn't make it on. Because there are a couple who I was not shocked, but yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty shocked that a couple people aren't on this. So yeah, why don't we walk through that?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, I thought Hatch and Tina would be like locks to be on this, and that's why they would be doing it. And instead they went Ethan and Amber, which were shocking. Like Amber especially was very shocking to me.
Tina and Richard not being on this is absolutely flooring to me.
Yeah.
That is, and that again, this all comes, this was announced, 36 hours ago. Like, we know absolutely nothing. And as Phil's been podcasting for a lot longer than I have, but Phil and I both are very much on the tail end of the Survivor timeline. We know nothing about Rich and Tina, but yeah, I have to assume that was a them decision. If you, like, I can't imagine CBS said, I don't want Richard Hatch or Tina.
Hatch says he wasn't asked. On Twitter, he said he was not asked.
Do you think it's because of the issues?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it absolutely is.
Yeah, and we had talked about this on the Patreon podcast, and I think we kind of blew by it because we were like, oh, he's just so popular now. Because I'm at the time, he was so much a villain, and especially when the tax return issues were going on, people disliked him even more. And now we're how many years past it, and everyone loves Richard Hatch. He created the game, yada, yada, yada. And I think you and I just kind of completely oversaw the fact that he went through some serious legal issues. And I think if we were going to apply that to Jenna Maraska, for example, I guess we also do need to apply that to Richard Hatch.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely think so. So I think Hatch, he says he wasn't asked. They probably didn't want to dig it back up. I mean, like, if I'm CBS, I don't want to dig it back up. But I just think it's interesting. Like you don't have Richard, you don't have Tina, and then you like how they pulled Amber.
I don't know how they did that.
Mind everybody, this is, I guess, supposedly still unofficial. Like, we don't actually know. I'm just going based off of Redmond's post. Yeah, there's no Vesapia. They obviously didn't ask Brian Heidick, but man, like, to pull Amber is absolutely incredible, especially since Boston Rob is also playing. That's really
who's
wild.
Babysitting the kids?
I don't know. I don't. Lex is babysitting the kids.
Dad's also gone for how many days?
I know,
70 days.
I know. Dad's gone. Yeah, I don't even know what do you tell your kids at that point?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll tell you when you're older, I guess.
Right. All right. So
yeah, I guess Hatch and Tina is just the fact that both are not on is kind of crazy.
And then you would think that like you would try to get Ethan and Vesapia if you're not going to get Hatch and Tina, especially since we saw Tina so recently, but we have never seen Vesapia again. But they didn't. They didn't do it.
And that's where this will probably come in. We'll learn more as this goes on. But from what Giuseppe posted on Facebook, she wasn't asked. Apparently, Richard wasn't asked. I'm sure Tina was asked. Ethan obviously ended up on. Brian, we can all assume, wasn't asked.
Yeah.
That's
Jenna
where it kind of gets into.
asked.
Like, was the person asked and they said no, or were they not asked at all? And that's kind of the fun discussion that I guess.
I don't think. I mean, if you were asked to be on Survivor All Winners, how do you say no?
I don't know.
You can't say no. Like, you just can't say no. All right, so let's run through this real quick over on Inside Survivor. I'm looking at the list. I'm gonna read the ages too, so that all of you can see just how long Survivor has been on the air. Because remember, Amber Brkich was young and hot, and now Amber Mariano is older and hot. But here we go. Get ready for the ages, because everybody's mind is about to be blown. Amber Mariano, 40. Danny Boatwright, 43. Denise Stapley, 48. So just in those first three names, Alexa, Denise Stapley is 5 years older than Danny Boatwright. And Denise Stapley was the mom on her season, and Danny Boatwright was like the hot 20-something on her season. Or maybe she was
I'm looking at these pictures. Some of these are current and some are not, right? Kim, I feel like, is that the same picture that, like, Michelle, I feel like is the same picture that
Kim's is the same, Michelle's the same, Amber's is different, Danny's is different. It looks like Parvati's is different.
God, none of these people have aged.
Adam Klein's is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's hashtag portrait mode right there.
That really, oh my God. That's, yeah. But okay. So then
going.
Kim Spradlin, 36. Michele Fitzgerald, 28. Now, mind you, Michele Fitzgerald is the youngest woman in this cast, and she's 28 years old.
This is so fucking good.
She's 28 years old. Okay. Natalie Anderson, 33. Parvati Shallow, 36. Parvati Shallow is 36. Yes, even Parvati ages. Sandra Diaz-Twine, 44. Sarah Lucina, 35. Sophie Clark, 29. One of only 4 people in their 20s. Adam Klein, 28. Ben Bergen, I can never say his last name, 36. Ethan Zohn, 45. Jeremy Collins, 41. Nick Wilson, 28. Rob Mariano, 43. Tony Vlachos, 45. Tyson Apostle, 39. Wendell Holland, 35. Yul Kwan, 44.
Wendell's 35.
Yeah, that's a good-looking 35-year-old man right there. Mm-hmm. Let's be, yeah. Alexa, you could say it.
This is insane. Yeah, for those of you who are complaining that there are a lot of young casts, look no further. This is unreal. Yeah, it's 28 and 29 are your 2 youngest.
Yeah, and what's interesting though is I guess in recent seasons the winners have been older. Like Nick Wilson was 28, but Wendell. So that means when Wendell won, he was 34 years old.
Yeah, I guess so.
So like Wendell looks young. That's the thing. Like Wendell, like everything about Wendell says that he's younger than he is. Like you would think Wendell was still in his 20s or maybe just 30, and like 35 isn't old, but I'm surprised he's 35 as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And then I guess like when you look at Tyson, it was his 3rd time playing by the time he won. So of course he was a little bit older. Yeah. Tony's a recent winner. He's older. Jeremy's older.
Yul looks the exact same.
Yeah, Yul looks identical.
Jeremy does not age.
I don't know how
old was he? Yul won. What was it? Season
13.
What year was that? I don't want to do math backwards, but yeah, this is crazy.
It was 13 years ago, so he was 31 when he won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, all these people age great. I guess when you win $1 million, it really, I don't know. I guess it really helps.
So how did we do in terms of the women? Because there were only 4, and I think Amber's really the only one we got wrong. Because we thought season 38 was going to have a female winner, and then it didn't have a female winner.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier today. So what we did get correct is we got Sandra, Natalie Anderson, Danny, Kim, Denise, Michelle, Sarah, and Parvati. The 2 people we got wrong were the season 38 winner, which we had the season 38 winner as both a male and a female kind of floating around this. And Tina, we got Tina wrong.
Well, who did we say would be the person who would come in after the season 38 winner? We were just assuming the season 38 winner.
So our 2 alternates were Sophie, which ended up working out.
So we got that one.
And Vesepia, which ended up being incorrect.
Yeah, I can't believe they got Amber. That's the most shocking thing.
I think we kind of assumed that Amber wouldn't be. We knew Jenna and Natalie White, I think, were the 2 that we were like, this is going to happen. This isn't going to happen. And I think it was Sophie, Vesepia, and season 38. All 3 of those we were kind of funky on. I think you and I were kind of up in the air about those.
Yeah. I mean, I think we fought back and forth. I just thought 38 was going to be won by a woman. And I know, obviously, all season I kept saying it was going to be Victoria, but I really did think that it was going to be a woman for some reason. Like, I just felt like there's been so much talk about an all-winner season, and then it never was, like, good enough. And I think that really came from the female standpoint. And there hasn't been a female winner since Sarah Lucina. So I figured that this season had to be won by a woman who was going to be asked to go back right away.
Yeah, which is now, what, 4 seasons ago?
Yeah.
That's a long time in terms of Survivor.
It is a long time.
And then in terms of the men, we got Wendell, Tony, Jeremy, Boston Rob, Nick, Tyson, and Ethan correct. I did not think Ethan was going to come back, so that was all you.
That one was
we got Earl wrong, we got Todd wrong, and we got Richard Hatch wrong. And our 2 alternates for the season 38 winner, who is not coming back, and Fabio was one of our alternates. So we did better on the women than we did with the men, which makes sense because percentages. But yeah, the men was definitely a little bit different, especially with Todd. Really thought Todd was going to come back.
Yeah, I thought Todd was going to come back too. I'm really surprised Adam came back. We douded him again on that Patreon podcast, and I'm
sorry, Adam. We know you listen to us.
Yeah, well, he probably won't be now. But yeah, I was surprised that Adam came back on. Who was the other one we didn't get? Who else did we not get? Yule, I guess Yule and Earl. We picked Earl instead of Yule.
We didn't get Yule. I was like convinced Yule was going to come on.
And then who was the other one? Who's the other one that we didn't get right?
Stand by. Ben.
We didn't pick Ben.
Ben. I think because we thought, I don't know. I'll have to look back. We'll have to look. We should have saved mine and yours to see like who neither of us picked and who one of us picked. But yeah, we got Ben wrong, which it makes sense that the more recent winners would come back, because I guess it's an easier sell because they just played versus Ethan. Like Ethan hasn't played in 13 years, like something insane like that. So I guess that's a tougher sell when like your life has been so settled and so separated from Survivor. Yeah. And now you have to come back into the fold, or you want to. I don't know.
Well, see, so Ethan actually, how long has the show been on? 19? So he hasn't played in 15 years.
Longer than 30. Yeah, 15 years.
I mean,
15 years ago, I was 10. That's crazy.
And what I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Ethan is, like, we did see him in All-Stars play in Borneo, but the first time he played was in Africa. This is obviously Fiji's nothing like Africa. And then with Borneo, like, it'll be similar, but Ethan's so much older. Like, Ethan was 28 years old the second time he played. Or I guess 30 years old the second time he played, and 28 the first time he played, or 27. So, I don't know. It's really crazy to me. It's like, look, and I'll just keep on saying it, just in case it ends up being wrong, but this is the unofficial cast. But man, I don't think we've ever been told anything other than like, it's normally right when he says these things. So like, I'm pumped about this. This is really exciting. And
I think it's his 4-year anniversary of Inside Survivor. I don't know what anniversary, but he was like, going to drop some big news. And Phil and I both, I mean, I'll admit it, I was stalking that Instagram account, and that turned out to be pretty, I can't remember if
it was 18 or 20, I think. Yeah, I think it was close.
It was actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of like, okay, so like in terms of people who you think are going to do well, who you don't think are going to do well, I think we can both agree that either one of Boston Rob and Amber, one of them is going very early, and then
super early.
But like if Amber's tribe loses first and they vote out Amber, okay, then do you get rid? I think you still get rid of Boston Rob early. But if Boston Rob gets voted out, his tribe loses first, and you vote him out, I think Amber can make it all the way to the end and win.
I think Amber's fine no matter what. I think Boston Rob, especially because he's about to be on the next season in whatever capacity.
Yeah.
He is now the literal face of the franchise. Like, and for those of you who are unsure of who the actual idols of season 39 are, it's me and Phil. Like,
Alexa did a great job creating that.
I had a little fun with Photoshop the other day and put Phil's face and my face onto the Sandra and Boston Rob statue. So all winners is actually going to be the two of us just yelling at people the whole time. But I think the thing with Amber is, and God, I don't even know what it's like to be a winner, let alone a returning winner onto an all-winner season. But I have to imagine that Amber hasn't been a huge part of the Survivor community for better or for worse. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll work out for her in this case because no one's going to be afraid of her. It's kind of like, this is a really rough comparison, but it's the only thing I can think of. Rupert and Laura, when they played, when Rupert went, Laura hung around because there was no like threat to get rid of her because there wasn't the threat of the couple. And I have to imagine they're going to be on completely different tribes. There's no way they'd put them together.
Yeah, you can't start them on the same tribe. I kind of tried to do like a little tribe like guess at like what it would be, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, but I know everyone's saying like, oh, like Danny's going to do well, Denise is going to do well, Sophie's going to do well. Like you're kind of under the radar. People are going to do well. Amber takes under the radar like to the next level.
Yeah,
I think I think she very well has a chance to do well. I also have no idea what's been going on with Amber's life in the past. In the past forever.
Yeah, and I will say, like, so I said to Alexa, I said, when this came out, I said we should just make like a boot list and like not talk about it, but just have it. So I made mine, and I actually like you start to realize like it can't be all the under the radar winners who make it to the end. Exactly. Like it just can't.
It's not going to be Jeremy, Danny, and Denise in the final three.
Yeah, or like Adam, Michele, and Danny. Like that's just not gonna like. There's too many big winners. And like one of these players isn't going to play under the radar, and that's how they would get there if they were originally
Sandra Diaz, Klein, right?
Exactly. So that's how I feel about this entire thing. So like I think somebody like Tony this time around actually has a chance to do pretty well, because what if Tony starts on a tribe with Boston Rob and Parvati? Are you really going to vote out Tony? And I think it's very likely. So here I kind of did this real quick because I looked at who had played on seasons with each other. And so I figured they're going to try to split up Rob, Tyson, and Sandra. It was Rob, Tyson, Sandra, and Parvati. All four of them played on the villain tribe.
Oh, those villains.
So I think you have to separate them. Well, if Rob and Sandra are both doing 39, you start them on opposite tribes. You give Rob Parvati and you give Sandra Tyson, because then you split it up to one man and one woman on each. If that happens, Sandra and Tony started on the same tribe in Game Changers, which makes me think Tony would go to the tribe with Rob and Parvati. If Tony's on a tribe with Boston Rob and Parvati, there are two bigger threats than Tony Vlachos that you get rid of immediately.
I think you get rid of Boston Rob before you get rid of Parvati. Boston Rob has been floating around. Where has Parvati been?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, you don't get rid of Tony. So I actually think somebody like Tony could do very well on this season, despite the fact that, like, in Game Changers, he literally didn't have a chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna love so much about this season. Like, what's a threat? Like, who's a threat? Everybody, nobody. It's all such a level playing field. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out, because, it's one of those where it's like, who's a threat, who's not? Well, everybody's one. So everybody's a threat. And it's like one of those, like, if you try to think like, okay, well, they could take this person in the end as like a GOAT. How can you say one of the winners is a GOAT? They pitched their case against somebody else and won the game. And we don't have Bob Crowley sitting in here who pitched it against Susie and Sugar. Like, everybody who's in here beat at least pretty good competition, at least pretty good. So like, it's going to be really, really interesting. I just wonder how like some of the older cast members do. Like, how does Amber do? She's season 8 was the season she wins. Ethan season 3, Danny season 11, Yul season 13. Do these people kind of team up? I mean, Parvati and Yul played together. People don't forget that. Like, Parvati and Yul, their first season, they played together. And that's when Parvati was naked in the hot tub. So like, Yul was on that reward. So like, could we see the two of them kind of team up again? Despite the fact that I think you have to start them on opposite tribes. I think you have to start Natalie and Jeremy on opposite tribes. I think those are things you have to do.
Here, Pat, give me your tribe, your thought out tribe breakouts, because clearly there's a ton of overlap here. And I don't know if it's going to be possible to keep all overlap separate.
I think it is. So here's what I have. I have Rob and Parvati, Tony, Ethan, Denise, Nick, Michele, Danny, Natalie, and Wendell. And then on tribe 2, I have Tyson, Sandra, Amber, Yul, Sarah, Ben, Adam, Sophie, Kim, and Jeremy.
This is awesome. This is so awesome.
Because you have to split Jeremy and Natalie. I think that I think they're going to try as much as they can to keep back-to-back winners off of the same season or off the same tribe. So like, Michele and Jeremy won't be on the same tribe. Michele and Adam won't be on the same tribe. Adam and Sarah, I have being on the same tribe just because like they have to be. But I think for the most part, they're going to like try to split that up. Although like,
back-to-back winners couldn't watch each other, right? Or
they've watched it since, obviously.
I mean, at this point, they've all hopefully watched each other's seasons.
Yeah. I think you split up people though. Like, I think like Danny and Kim get split. I think like Sophie and Michele get split. I think Adam and Nick get split, like they're the only 20, they're the only men in their 20s, the only women in their 20s. So I think those types of people get split. So that's my prediction. So I mean, but like just listing off those 20 names and saying those are 2 starting tribes, like that's insane. And like even if like a final 3 is new school people, it's still going to be like how, like, that's crazy because every week we're going to be seeing some huge person get voted out of the game. And it's just crazy. It's just wild.
Yeah. Like who's going to be the first boot other than, I mean, at first glance, I have to imagine like Rob or Sandra are going to be the 2 biggest targets, but like, what do you think it's like for Boston Rob or Sandra to be the first person voted out of a season? Like that alone is crazy.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If Boston Rob and Sandra start, like they probably start in opposite tribes, but like if they were to start in the same tribe, like, you don't vote them out.
It would
like
blow up.
Yeah, like it's. Well, I'm saying like if that tribe wins, like it's going to be very interesting too to see like who like knows each. I mean, Adam Klein is somebody who goes to like every event. Like he goes to every Survivor event, and like if Adam's going to every Survivor event, he knows a lot of these people. And like Adam's an insanely friendly guy who loves going to this stuff. If that's what he's doing, like why can't he win? You know.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess we can either talk as much or as little about this as we want, but I think there's a fairly clear divide between those who are on the earlier seasons and those who are on the just whacked my mic, more recent seasons. Ethan's been around for quite a while, but the like culture of being a Survivor player must have been so much different than what it's like now with like Adam or Nick or Wendell. Like all of them are everywhere all the time versus Ethan, who like probably has led a pretty normal life since winning Survivor. So or like Danny, like what, like they've all probably led like fairly normal lives after this. So pre-game knowledge or like I guess relationships with others probably mean something very different to your original winners versus your newer winners. Yeah.
I mean, I think like, and what's interesting is like somebody like Ethan is like an iconic winner. Like people like, he was like an icon, like what, 30 million people were watching. When
Ethan is from Lexington, Massachusetts, which is the town that borders where I grew up. Like Ethan is a freaking legend where I'm from.
Yeah. And like, my thing is like, but I feel like Wendell is more popular right now. But also only 7 million people know that Wendell won Survivor, whereas 30 million people know that Ethan won Survivor. Yet Wendell, I feel like, is much more relevant in the Survivor community than Ethan is. And like you said, they're like living normal lives. So it is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point because if I like, I'm going to go to work tomorrow and talk about all winners to like the 5 people who care. And those 5 people will all know who Ethan is. They might not know who Wendell is, even though Wendell is certainly the more relevant winner. But Ethan is like, he was the soccer player from Lexington, Massachusetts. Like that was his thing. And that's like Richard Hatch, someone called him the pride of Rhode Island the other day at my office. It's just like those are household names because 30 million people were watching Survivor then. But Wendell is like, everyone knows Wendell. Wendell's at everything. Like Wendell walks into a bar during finale week and everyone's like, oh my God, Wendell just walked in. It's completely different worlds.
Exactly. And I wonder, you know, like for what was it during the 37 finale, like when we're there and Nick just won, Wendell's there and everybody knows Wendell. If Ethan Zohn walks in, does everybody recognize Ethan right away?
No, because his hair's not crazy anymore.
Yeah, he's not. It's shorter. He looks much more grown up. He looks much.
It's almost as if he's a 45-year-old adult,
right? Instead of like a 27-year-old soccer player. So yeah, big difference there. I don't know. I'm really. It's one of those where like we're going to talk about this so much more when it actually gets like officially released and all of that. And this is just because we know that there's hype around it right now because it just got announced and we're about to enter the long off season and all of that. And like, how could we not talk about it right now? I mean, if it's out there, it's out there. Like that's, I take that as that's fair game. We talk about it. So like, how could we not talk about this now? And like, it's, I don't know. It's exciting. Like if you're a Survivor fan and you're not excited about this, like where's your pulse? Like, and I don't, my thing is with like an all winter season, like this is a season where like they can throw everything at the wall on these people because they've all won. And like, I'm okay with that because like, I feel like if there's 19 idols being played at a tribal council, and that means like the 20th person automatically goes home, like they already won Survivor. So like I don't really feel bad for them. Obviously, we want to see like a pure game. We want to see them be able to strategize and everything. But like I want to see Ethan Zohn be able to like run the game anyway, despite the fact that he's never played Survivor with an idol in his entire life. And
yeah,
you know,
no, keep going.
No, I was just gonna because like Amber at least like has Boston Rob, who has played with idols, even though Amber hasn't. Other than those two, everybody else has played with idols. Danny had an idol in her season. You know, that was the first season I actually had one. Yule played with an idol the entire season. So like I want to see Ethan be able to like work with these idols and everything. And like not for nothing, like this is just gonna be so much fun. Like it's I guess it's one thing like when you watch season 38 and like somebody has an idol in their bag and you're like, what the hell? Because like Victoria, who played the greatest game of all time, as I say, that's on an all winners podcast.
Yeah,
like,
Michele Fitzgerald, sit down.
But like, you know, Victoria, who's playing a really great game, when she gets screwed there, you feel bad because it's like her first chance. It might be her only chance, whatever. Every one of these people has won. And so like, to me, it's like, go have your fun. Like, go have your fun, kids. You're going to do great. Like I am so jealous of Adam Klein right now because that could be me. Like I'm 27, he's 28. Like I've hung out with Adam. Adam is a huge Survivor fan. I'm a huge Survivor fan, and he's getting to go play with Ethan and Tyson and Amber and Boston Rob and Sandra and Parvati. Like, are you kidding me? I want to do that.
I would freak out. That's kind of like when Zeke talked to Sari and he was like, holy crap, I can't believe I might be in an alliance with you. Like that times a million. That's just insane. Like
for me, it's like one of those like where if Adam Klein gets idled out in 18th place, I don't feel bad for Adam Klein because he got to go out there and like be with these people. Like that's pretty damn awesome.
That is pretty damn awesome. So Phil, you broke down you just broke down the tribes. Can you give me your quick who do you think might go early? Who do you think might win? Who's going to be in the final three? Give it. It's May 19th. This show is going to air in February of 2020. Let's hear it.
I think that people who are in trouble right away and really have no way of overcoming it, Sandra, Parvati, Boston Rob, like there's no way they could have an idol every single tribal council and people are going to still keep throwing votes at them because like you'd be crazy.
Second season.
Yes, exactly. Like you'd be crazy to let Boston Rob ever get back with Amber. You'd be crazy to let Parvati get deep because we know how dangerous she can be every single time. Parvati has finished what, 5th or was she 6th? She was 6th her first season. She was 1st her second season, and she was 2nd her third season. Like there's no way you let that woman get anywhere. Sandra, I feel like she was able to do some things in Game Changers. But I still think that like you're not going to let Sandra get too far in this game.
You have to be the second. Like you can't let there be a 3-time winner. That is just
there's no way they're going to let there be a 3-time winner.
There's got to be a second 2-time winner.
Exactly. And you know, so like people who I think should stick around for a while. Obviously Adam and Michele, because I've said it a million times. I actually think Kim is in pretty good shape. I think Denise is in pretty good shape. Like those are two people that I don't think anybody's really looking at. I think Ethan's going to do well. Mm-hmm. He's older, but he's still athletic. You know, he's older, but still athletic, but he's not threatening. Like, who's going to be like, oh, God, that's Ethan Zohn. He played the most insane game. Like, Ethan almost did it in All-Stars. And I think he's going to be able to come out here and do really well in this season.
Because Ethan played the original social game. Yeah. But if you're going to get rid of a social thread, you can get rid of any of them.
Well, that's what I'm looking at, too. None of these people won the game because of their physical game. And that's what
I was just thinking about challenges.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is most interesting here is there are no challenge beasts on this season. The closest is probably Jeremy. Maybe Tyson, but Tyson's getting up there in age now. What's Tyson? 39?
39.
39 years old. But now he's 44.
Yeah, who's going to do
you know what I mean? So like there's never a reason to be like, "Oh, we need them for their strength." Like that, like, I don't even know who those winners would be, but none of those winners are on this season. So
yeah, at first glance, Yule, Wendell, Tyson, Jeremy. How was Sarah? I feel like Sarah was kind of good.
Sarah is pretty physical. I feel like
Natalie, I think, was sneaky good.
And Danny can be good. I know she's older, but Danny was good.
Kim, I feel like Kim could be good. And Denise, I think,
Denise is strong. So like, but like when you're saying that, like Chris Underwood is probably the strongest winner to ever play Survivor. You know what I mean? Like if you actually think about it. Yeah. If you really think about it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, as I'm looking at it, it's just like, people who I'm not as high on that I think like some people are going to think like can coast, but I'm just not as high on them. Somebody like Sophie, I'm just not super high on her this time. I'm not really super high on Ben because I feel like Sophie and Ben, their tribes did well early on. And like one thing doesn't break their way and they go out much earlier than they did. Sophie played a really good under the radar game, but I think that there's other people who played really good under the radar games too. And I feel like Sophie just might not be as connected with everybody as some of these other winners are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to look through this because Sophie won in such a specific way. Ben won in such a specific way.
Yeah.
Denise won in such a specific way. And like Sophie's not going to play that same game as Sandra didn't play that same game her third go around. So who's going to run their course and who's going to completely flip it? That's what I'm unsure of because I never would have expected Sandra to play the game that she did in Game Changers. Mm-hmm. I like at first glance, I can't imagine that Ethan is going to be the next like JT. Like I can't imagine that's going to happen, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to like, do you think you win the game by playing the same way? Like Sandra in Game Changers knew she had to play differently than she did her first 2 seasons or she was screwed. And she did, and then there was a swap, and that's how Sandra goes home. But like, if you're Adam, you have to be thinking like, I just have to play the same way I played the first time. I don't need to do anything differently. So why would you do anything differently? And I think some of these people who have lost before, because even though it's all winners, there are some losers on here. Ethan has lost. Boston Rob has lost many times. Parvati has lost. Jeremy has lost. Tyson has lost. Amber has lost. Like these are people who have lost. Sarah has lost. If you've lost, I think if you've lost, you might play a little bit differently because you've lost. Whereas if you've only won, you might try to stick to that winning strategy until you can't do it anymore.
I'm trying to count about half of a little less than half. Actually, more than half have won. Lost. Okay, Yul, Nick, Ben, Adam, Sophie, Natalie, Michelle, Danny, Denise, and Kim have never lost.
How many was that? You started counting.
I don't know. I feel like it's about half and half. But I also can't look at things and count at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bring up a really good point. Like some of these people don't know what it's like to lose the game. Because for a lot of people, things have gone their way the entire time. Or for someone like Denise, things never went their way and they still won.
Yeah, exactly. So like, do you try to play differently? Like Denise will probably try to play differently, but she's going to play the same social game. She's just going to try to actually be on a team that wins a challenge.
Yeah, that would be ideal for her. Yeah. I'm really curious. I think the person I'm most like curious and or excited to see play is Sarah, because Sarah did one of the most impressive 360s ever in a season. And I know, like, I mean, you told me this. I haven't been on Twitter much, but you said Sarah is one of the people that one of the returnees that people are kind of least excited about. I'm pumped for Sarah. I hated Game Changers. I will actively say that all day, but she wiped the floor with that season. Mm-hmm. Like she crushed that season. And it's going to be really impressive to watch her do that with someone that she's played before. She's played with Tony. That's another duo we haven't really talked about yet.
Yeah, Sarah and Tony will be interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah.
I'm all in on watching the two of them play each other.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and you know, like somebody like Kim, like who was really on her season. I know she came up in the chat as like, well, she won so many immunities. Yeah, okay. It was who was her final 7? Remember who her final 7 was. Like nobody was going to beat Kim in a challenge in that final 7. Mm-hmm. Like even like Troyzan was the only person who was good at challenges on that season. Like Jay looked like he'd be good at challenges. He sure as hell wasn't. So yeah. I don't know. Like that's what makes this cast so interesting. That's what makes this concept so interesting. What makes it so exciting is like, who knows what could happen?
I know. I didn't realize Rob and Amber moved to Pensacola.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Although I guess pretty much Rob just lives in Fiji now, so it doesn't matter.
That's it. He's building he and Sander are building the biggest shelter ever or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I read the headline, and I know you're not supposed to read headlines, but I read that and I was like, yep.
That's all I read too. I just read that. I did not click the link. I will not lie.
What more, Phil? What are we missing?
What are we missing? I feel like I want to save as much of this as possible for like February, but we just wanted to put this out here now. I feel like it's like important to just throw it out there now because like people are very excited about it. This was unofficially announced, so it's like we need to talk about this. Like this is like the most exciting thing that's happening in the community right now, especially after one of the biggest WTFs of all time with Chris Underwood winning. This is what people want to talk about, and like I saw it all over Reddit, saw it over Twitter, and it's like, sure, let's talk about it. Like,
we'll cover it. We got nothing to do. Game of Thrones ended. We got nothing.
Game of Thrones ended. We don't have an interview tonight. Like I said, we don't have one tonight. Yeah. So like, let's go.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we can talk about this when we close it out, but we are probably gonna have a retrospective soon. And Phil brought up an incredible point that I'll use as a teaser for this retrospective. But we, as we mentioned earlier, Phil and I had a slight existential crisis before we went live. Because Phil pointed out that in this finale, Jeff did not say, if you think you have what it takes to be on Survivor, go to cbs.com/Survivor and apply. He didn't say that. And he's said that every time since I've watched this show, and Phil's been watching this show longer than me. That's kind of freaky. And we're going to talk about it. If you become a $10 patron, Patreon.com/Survivor Specialists.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what happens after 40 because
Phil and Alexa stare at a computer at each other.
If for anybody who does watch Game of Thrones, you know when Bran stares at Jaime and just says, "What if there is nothing after?" That's how I feel right now.
I don't want anymore.
Yeah, no, I want, but I just keep thinking of that line where it's just like, "What if there is no after?" I'm like,
oh my god, and we all, oh god, we'll talk.
We're not going to talk about that here. This is the happy podcast.
Yeah, I don't feel about anything anymore. Oh god,
there is no after. Anyway,
Sansa's ruling the North. Okay, sorry, keep going.
What else do we need to cover? I mean, this has been about 45 minutes. I mean, I don't want to go all in because then people have no reason to listen to us later. So
I think first of all, I think we have some new people in the chat. For those of you who don't know who we are, we're Phil and Alexa, and we're really happy for you to join us. I don't recognize a lot of these names. But yeah, I don't think we need to force it. I mean, we kind of this was Phil decisions. I'm not going to take credit for it. We kind of decided to talk about this earlier today because this is really relevant news. Obviously 39 is about to happen in, a couple months. But yeah, we have a couple interviews planned. We don't have exact schedules yet, but within the next few weeks, you guys will hopefully be seeing quite a bit of us and a couple people from this past season. But yeah, we want to talk about this. This is like the coolest thing ever. And I know that might seem nerdy, like in the grand scope of our lives, because like, yes, this is a TV show and it's a reality show that is only so much of a part of our lives. But like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like everyone, like a bunch of people who have only won this show are going to come back. And I'm so goddamn excited about it. And I know Phil's super pumped about it too. So even though this isn't airing for another 9 months, we're amped.
Like I said, I can talk about Michele now for 9 months.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Victoria, I miss you.
Yeah, right. Everybody's going to miss Victoria.
I miss you already.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't think we need to go much further than this. We've discussed enough. I will say I'm rewatching San Juan del Sur.
I called Phil and he was like, Kelly Wentworth's about to get voted out. Call me later.
Yeah, I needed to rewatch it. I have not rewatched San Juan del Sur since it aired. And considering I just like saw Kelly Wentworth at the finale, I was like, I should probably watch San Juan del Sur to figure out because like I wasn't a huge Kelly Wentworth fan during San Juan del Sur, so I was always shocked that she was such a lock for Cambodia. But now I'm a huge Kelly Wentworth fan, and it's funny to rewatch San Juan del Sur, like knowing what she becomes and also knowing how little screen time she gets in that season. So did you? I mean, I haven't rewatched it nearly as recently as you have, but I didn't realize she got less screen time than anticipated because she had such a following after San Juan del Sur. I mean, that's crazy.
People ended up voting her back in, and I think it helps that like I think I was telling you, like Drew Christie, that was like the most ridiculous episode ever, and she she became like an icon after that. And then Second Chances happened, and then she just blew up, and the story writes itself after that. Like, she's amazing.
Absolutely. But this isn't all winners podcast, so
hello,
see yourself out. Exactly. But I mean, do you want to just should we end it, or what do you want to do?
I mean, I guess we don't have much more information to work off of, like, other than creeping on some people on Instagram. We don't really know what's going on. We're basing this off of a spoiler internet website. But yeah, so we'll be back at some point this week. At the very least, we'll be back with our 2 patron podcasts this week. We have to do our Q&A, and then we'll be doing a retrospective, which may be a forward spective, whatever that is. But yeah, we'll be back. We are very much planning to have a bunch of interviews this off season, hopefully within the next month or so. Obviously, scheduling can be pretty tough. We're on God knows how many coasts. We're working with a couple different people. But stay tuned. We'll be posting, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of our new schedules. We have a couple like overhauls planned for the off season, but again, we'll be in touch. We'll be live soon, probably Tuesday or Wednesday this week. In the meantime, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit subscribe on YouTube. I think we need like literally 3 or 4 more to hit 4,800. Give us 5 stars on iTunes, and we will be back on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. See you then.